Hello and welcome back to Valentine's Culinary School. Today, this is a sub-video about cast iron, which for me is the number one option for pots and pans. There are a few reasons for this. Number one, it's practically indestructible. Number two, it's very non-stick because as you season a cast iron pan, the oil becomes impregnated within the cast iron and forms a layer that, if maintained properly, will prevent your food from sticking. Sometimes it can be a little bit more difficult if you have a pot like this, where you tend to cook something very soupy all the time, but even so, you can still maintain a good finish on that. Here's a great example. Look at that beautiful finish. That will not stick. Now, another key to using any pan, for that matter, is to always heat up the pan first before you use, and then you use cold oil for your food. And that temperature differential will almost always prevent things from sticking. The other reason I like cast iron is, unlike, say, that petrochemical PTFE non-stick stuff, or even the other kinds of non-stick, there's some ceramic versions of the same thing these days that are less toxic. However, they are very fragile. The nice thing about cast iron is, like I said, it's virtually indestructible. And if you do have an issue where the finish gets destroyed, it rusts out, you leave a bunch of bacon grease in it for 6 months and then come back to it, ask me how I know, you can pretty easily readdress the finish and repair it. The main thing to keep it going is careful, one, control on the stove. Don't get it too hot too fast. Use a nice gentle increase in the heat so that the whole thing can start to expand as a unit, as opposed to just one small part of the pan getting hot first versus the other. If you do have it get way too hot too fast, you can really damage something, and I'll demonstrate here. This is a rather nice old school griddle. It's pretty thin wall, but I unfortunately let it get too hot too fast, and because of that I got a crack running from here to here, and you can kind of see that on the back side of this, where oil has seeped through and has started to build up a little bit of a layer there. Now, it's still perfectly usable, but really not a good idea to do. I had another Comal from a long time ago too that was even thicker, heavier duty cast iron, and it had a similar problem where it got too hot too fast and it developed a crack from the center to the edge. You know, it was on the stove and then all of a sudden there was a huge bang as it popped apart, and it was destroyed. So this is more an old school thin wall kind of griddle. I also have, here we have a much more modern Lodge griddle, which has a nice lip on it, which helps me because, you know, I like to have this on it. You can also get these things, basically pot holders for the handles. And they make a variety of different kinds of these things. Best found at a restaurant supply store, I would say. If you don't have a restaurant supply store in your area, you can probably order them. Either the silicone grips or, you know, just made out of fabric also is another option. This is a nice thin wall cast iron piece I got from an estate sale. You can't really, they don't make these anymore. You can see this is a very smooth quality casting. Nice ring to it. Thin wall. And it came with a matching lid which was just beautiful. And this can actually be used on an open fire. So if you're out camping, another advantage of cast iron, if you're out camping and you have a campfire, you can put this directly on the coals or on the logs and do your cooking that way. Can't beat it. Can't do that with aluminum. Hell no. There are of course a wide variety of shapes you can use from, we have the 3-quart chicken fryer Dutch oven. This looks like a 4-quart, maybe a 5, no, probably a 4-quart Dutch oven. You can get them with this, so you can actually put them on a tripod over the fire. You can also get the kind where they have feet. I didn't bring it today because it's just too heavy to deal with, but I have a 5-quart Dutch oven with the feet and the lid that has a lip around the lid, so you can put it in there, put your biscuits in here, place the coals around the top, and then let it bake for outdoor cooking. Great option. In addition to all of these, you get a workout too. Don't give yourself, hurt yourself, but having these pans will last your entire lifetime, and then on to the next generation. I really love that aspect. And they work on induction. And of course there's the classic square griddle. This is another Lodge product. Lodge seems to be the main supplier these days, or there's stuff out of China too. I also have this one. This one's a little less desirable because you can see it has a very low lip. To me that's just a little bit too low, and it's slightly rounded, which sometimes is nice, but ultimately I just like the more depth of the pan. And this is Benjamin and Midwin casting. So here's your standard Lodge casting. Now this is thicker than that other one I was showing you here, but this is still very durable. I've had this since I was in college, and I've ruined the finish a few times and then brought it back. But it's fine. Who cares? It'll last forever. This shape is really great for cooking beans, cooking small stews. Really recommend it if you can find it. Not so easy to find, but this is another 3-quart, believe it or not. And yeah, cast iron. It's hard to beat. It's an investment that'll last for a life. This is an old, made in China, Tools of the Trade Basics from Macy's, I believe, that I bought years ago. Anyway, I'll see you in the next video. I hope you enjoyed that. May you be well. May you be blessed. May you be truly at peace. May you be filled with unconditional love for all beings. May you eat well and be well. Aloha.